Hello everyone, this is Chris, aka Seiji, back with another iRacing tutorial. Last time we went over the importance of car control and the basics of it at the large 1.5 mile oval Charlotte Motor Speedway. Now we're on to the other track on the street stock schedule rotation for the rookie street stocks, and that is USA Speedway, which is a 3/4 mile oval. And of course, you're going to drive those drastically differently. Like, you have to consider that iRacing wants you to learn both how to drive at high speeds near each other, even when you're going mostly flat out or flat out on the throttle, compared to driving around more technical short tracks and having to use the brake and the gas and the steering wheel and how to balance that to make your car handle fast, but also and drive fast, but also make sure you stay off other people, stay off the wall, keep under control of your car. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Going to be showing you the basics of how you use your inputs in the car to get around the racetrack. So as you might be seeing already, I'm not really trying too hard, but I'm just doing some basic technique that you should get used to. Basically, you're going to be wanting to only do two things at once. You don't want to be on the gas and braking at the same time. You don't want to be, especially, you don't want to be on the gas, braking, and steering at the same time. You have to consider that the tires can only do so much. The car is only going to want to do so much. Already, you have to consider the inertia of the car, and it's not going to want to turn or handle or do anything you say. So if you tell it to do more things, especially at the same time, it's going to be very, very unlikely that it's going to be able to do all those inputs you give it and maintain the same amount of grip, speed, and control. So, as you come off here, I'm going to describe my cornering technique. Basically, I roll off the gas, get onto the brakes, let it roll into the center of the corner, then pick up the throttle, and there, you're off. And that's how you're going to quarter. Let's do it again. Off the gas, on the brakes, roll into the corner, roll in the throttle. One of the main things you'll see in stock cars, as opposed to a lot of sports cars, maybe open wheel cars or karts, is that there's a lot of off throttle time where you're literally only turning. This can change depending on your driving style and the track. I know personally it's just something I prefer to do just to make sure that the car is not being overloaded with too many inputs. Again, we're off the throttle, on the brake, get off the brake, find the throttle again, and then you're off. A lot of times you'll hear people describe whenever the car sets into the corner as the time when you get back onto the throttle. That's basically when the car really starts to get a lot more grip and is really willing to turn. And you want to make that point whenever the apex of the corner is. Now keep in mind, a lot of this doesn't matter at the bigger tracks where you're still going wide open, but you still want to keep the basic idea of control and lifting and weight distribution in your mind. I'll get into weight distribution in another video, probably later on down the road, since this is really only just the basics of driving on a track like this. But it's good to keep in mind this technique is one of the better ways to drive your race car and keep under control of it. Some of the things you definitely want to make sure you work on to improve as a driver include being able to use up all the racetrack and make your turning radius wider, and also keeping your inputs smooth and steady. Keep in mind, your car is really okay with slower inputs, as you can see right there how I ducked down on the straightaway. But if you start doing some more harsh inputs, you can see that the rear end's starting to dip out on me and it's not really responding the way it wants to. Again, the car has its own inertia and the tires have their own grip. They can only respond to what you're telling the car to do so quickly. There we go. Easy off, and there you go. There are also going to be times where you're going to be fighting an ill-handling race car. This could, usually in the fixed setup series and in the rookie street stocks, that'll just be because you're potentially abusing some of your tires. Generally, the two conditions you'll see in oval racing the most are an understeering race car, which is known as tight, and then an oversteering race car, which is known as loose. The solution to both of these problems is to use just less throttle and basically just try to load the tires less. Whenever you have an understeering car, that means the front tires are not gripping enough, and that's bringing the front end just push up the track. If an oversteering race car, that means the rear tires are not gripping enough, and that means that the rear tires are trying to push out and aren't turning rough. Again, lifting up the throttle, trying to make sure you get the grip to all the tires evenly is the best way to resolve those issues. And then let's go for just one more lap around, just so I can reinforce the basic inputs and the pattern that you want to emulate at most racetracks. Now, there will be some tracks where you don't have to brake, some tracks where you don't even have to lift off the throttle, but you still want to keep this in mind. Again, I'm not saying this is definitively the fastest way for every single person to get around the track. Especially now with iRacing's updates and considering a lot of other games and racing sims, there will be several different ways for you to get around the track, and everyone does it a little bit differently. It's not really about doing it how I do it or how some pro does it. It's about doing it how you do it and how it fits your style. Everyone's style has some strengths and weaknesses, but you can only really be comfortable doing what you like to do. So, with that being said, I hope you guys learned something here today. Hope you take that into your rookie street stock races. Make sure you're practicing this. USA is pretty intimidating the first time when you're getting to a track where you actually do have to pay attention to braking, gas, and steering, and other cars on the track for the first time. But trust me, you can get used to it, and pretty soon you'll be climbing in safety rating and maybe get out of the rookie series. And even if you're someone that's not a rookie and you're just watching this just to brush up on your fundamentals, I hope this helped you. I'm Chris, aka Seiji. Please look at the links below if you want to follow me on any social media or subscribe. Please do that. I'll be coming out with more videos. Next time we'll be going over racing and traffic, and I'll be using an example video to describe that. Once again, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.